She came to the same cafe table every morning for 27 years. In a quiet corner of Paris, near an old train station, there was a small cafe that hadn't changed much in years. It had red curtains, wooden chairs, and tiny square tables with white tablecloths. At the table by the window, a woman named Elise sat every morning. She ordered the same thing each day: 1 cup of black coffee and a croissant. She always brought a book, but she rarely read. Her eyes were usually on the door. Elise had been coming to that same cafe table for 27 years. People in the neighborhood knew her. The waiter, Mark, had worked there since he was a teenager. He said she started coming in the spring of 1998. At first, she looked happy, full of life, always checking her watch, always turning when the cafe door opened. She wore a green scarf most days, and she smiled at everyone who walked in, hoping it was him. No one knew exactly who she was waiting for, but it didn't take long for people to guess. Over time, her smile faded. She stopped turning her head so quickly. But she kept coming. Every single morning. Rain or shine. Even when the city streets were empty during holidays or quiet during cold winters, she was there. Same time, same table, same order. Years passed. New people came to the cafe, and old ones moved away. But Elise stayed. She had become part of the place, like the smell of baked bread, or the old clock that ticked above the counter. Some younger waiters once joked about her, calling her the Lady of Lost Time. But Mark always told them to be quiet. "She's waiting for love," he would say. "And that's something you don't make fun of." One day, a curious tourist asked Elise why she came every day. She smiled softly and said, "I promised someone I'd wait." That's all she said. Nothing more. Nobody knew who he was. Maybe he was a soldier who never returned. Maybe he was someone who left for work and never came back. Maybe he just changed his mind. But Elise never stopped believing he would walk through that door someday. She aged gracefully. Her hair turned gray, her steps slower, but her eyes remained the same. Calm, patient, full of quiet hope. Not the loud kind that shouts and expects, but the kind that sits silently and believes. Then, one morning, she didn't come. Mark waited. He even held her usual table for a while. But she didn't show up. Not that day. Not the next. A week later, a letter arrived at the cafe. It was from a lawyer. Elise had passed away peacefully in her sleep. Inside the letter was a short note she had written for the cafe staff. It said, "Thank you for letting me wait. It wasn't just about him. This cafe gave me peace. It gave me a reason to wake up, to believe, to feel alive. In the waiting, I found meaning." Mark framed the letter and placed it near the window, at her usual table. Her green scarf was folded neatly on the chair. And to this day, no one sits there. It remains empty. not out of sadness, but out of respect. Because Elise taught everyone something that the world often forgets. Love is not always about the ending. Sometimes it's about how deeply we feel, how long we believe, and how much we are willing to wait. Even if the door never opens again. She waited, and in doing so, reminded us all that some promises, no matter how small, are worth keeping. Please do like, share, and subscribe because you deserve to hear the best stories.